Good morning, children. Today we will study the second part of the chapter, the Mauryan Empire. In this part, we will study the extent of Ashoka's empire, Ashoka's dhammas, spread of dhamma, impact of dhammas, and the Mauryan administration. So, children, let us begin. Extent of Ashoka's empire. Ashoka's empire was a very vast one. It extended from the Brahmaputra in the east to Hindu Kush in the northwest and the Arabian Sea in the west, and from the Himalayas in the north to river Pennar in the south. Some portions of the Nepal and Kashmir also formed a part of Ashoka's empire. Outside India, it included the provinces of Kabul, Herat and Kandahar. Ashoka's empire was the biggest empire in ancient India. In addition to this, the Mauryas also shared a close and a cordial relation with the Central Asia's Khotan's empire. Ashoka's maintained friendly relations with the kingdom of southern India, mainly the Pandyas, Cholas and the Kerala Putras. Ashoka's Dhamma. The war with Kalinga filled Ashoka's heart with remorse and regret. Now, his main objective was to promote Dhamma. Dhamma is a Prakritic form of the Sanskrit word Dharma. Dhamma did not contain any particular religion or a religious system. Rather, it is a set of moral principle or moral law which deals with ideas like virtue, justice, morality, law and duty. Fundamental principles of Dhamma. The main principle of Ashoka Dhammas or code of duties are respect of elders. In one of his edicts, Ashoka says obedience must be tendered to one's father and mother. In the same way, the student must show respect to his teachers. Ahimsa. Ashoka not only forbade the slaughter of animals, but himself gave up hunting and eating meat. Tolerance. Ashoka says there should be respect for sects and religion of others, and not just respect for one's own religion or sects. Truthfulness. A man should speak the truth at all times. Charity. One should give educate to the illiterate, money to the poor, and knowledge of the Dhamma to everyone. Pure life. Ashoka favored a pure and simple life. Anger, cruelty, pride and jealousy are great sins. Spread of Dhamma. Ashoka adopted various measures to spread his Dhamma. Some such measures were: Ashoka inscribed the principles of Dhamma on the rock edicts that can still be found at the various significant places. These rock edicts were called Dhamma's Lipi and the Dhamma's Stamps. He appointed officers called Dhamma Mahamatras, whose main duty was to promote Dhamma and take care of the happiness and welfare of the entire population. He used common man's language, that is, Pali, to carry out the message to all commoners of his empire. He visited holy places and undertook royal tours called the Dhamma Yatras to preach the principles of Dhamma. He sent monks to preach the religions of Buddha to far off countries. Impact of Dhamma. Moral values. Under the influence of Dhamma, people started leading a moral life. Unity among religions. people adopted the policy of religious tolerance propagated by their emperor, and this unified them religiously. Public welfare. With the implementation of Dhamma, the continuous wars and conquest ended, paving the way to more attention on schemes, the welfare measures for common public. This led to the ultimate prosperity of the nation. End of crimes. Dhamma made a huge impact on the morality of the people, and the various immoral and illegal activities came to a minimum. Mauryan administration. The foundation of the highly structured system of the Mauryan administrations were laid down by Chandragupta Maurya, guided by Chanakya and his book Arthashastra. This system was retained by his son Bindusara, and some minor changes were made by Ashoka after he underwent a change of heart after the Kalinga War. There were three main divisions in the Mauryan administration: civil administration, military administration, and judicial administration. Civil administration. A centralized bureaucratic setup existed within the Mauryan government that was handled by a group of officers of various ranks. The king was the supreme authority of the government, whose throne passed on the next in line of succession by the hereditary. The king was not only the head of the state, but also the head of the judiciary and military administration. He was the supreme judge and had powers to enact a new laws. A council of ministers or Mantri Parishad used to act like an advisory body to the king. The prime minister was the head of this council. For each department, a separate minister was appointed. The vast empire of Chandragupta Maurya was divided into provinces. There were 4 provinces, that is, Magadha, Avanti, Gandhara, and the southern province. During the reigns of Ashoka, the new province of Kalinga was added with Toshali as its capital. Governors were appointed to the capital of these provinces. All major cities and capitals of the various Mauryan provinces had a separate local administration system. In the Arthashastra, it is mentioned that the Nagaraka, or the city superintendent, was entrusted with the duties of maintaining public roads and to look after water supply, safety measures against fire, etc. The sources of revenue collections. The Mauryan Empire's main source of income was land revenue, which varied from 1/3 to 1/6 of the entire produce that could be paid either in cash or kind. There were 2 kinds of taxes called the Bhag and Bali. Bhag was charged at the rate of 1/6 of the produce on the production of agriculture's goods and cattle. Bali, on the other hand, was a tax paid on the religious grounds. Taxes were also levied on a manufacturer's goods of different kinds: license, fees, fines, gambling houses, and liquor shops. The state provided facilities like irrigations, roads, hospitals, and other expenditures on the army, and salaries to officials was made from the taxes. System of spies. This was an aspect of the Mauryan administration where the emperor employed spies to get the regular information about the working of this state. Military administration. The king was the supreme commander of the armed forces, and he personally led his army both in peace and war. Historical record shows that the Mauryan army consisted of thousands of war elephants, cavalries, infantry and cadets, besides a fleet of ships. The main aims used by the armies were shields, bows, arrows, spears and swords. A military committee of 30 members controlled the entire army of the Mauryas, which was further divided into 6 boards of 5 members each. Judicial administration. The most remarkable and effective law of the Mauryas had been confirmed by the Megasthenes to be related to the criminal offence. Death penalty was the ultimate punishment for serious offenders of the law and those who were involved in lighter crimes, but chastised by shaving heads of the guilty and to humiliate them by cutting their nose. Avoiding paying taxes was considered to be a serious offence. During the Mauryan period, criminal laws was very strict and the punishments meted out were equally ruthless. Okay children, this was the last part of the lesson. So, we have to complete the chapter on the Mauryan Empire. I will advise you to go through the lesson from your textbook and to do the question and answers in your history exercise copy, which will be checked later. Have a good day.